So, what do I mean when I say that you can do more than just teach on a history degree? So, there's two questions that history majors get asked a lot. The first question is, how much money can you make with that? And the other question is something to the effect of, oh, are you going to teach? So, let's look at those two questions. The first one, of course, how much money can you make with a history degree? Well, that depends. Certainly, if history majors had a dime for every time somebody asked them, well, how much money can you make with that? Then money wouldn't be an issue. For my personal story, I worked in a corporate job for 13 years and made reasonably good money, but I was miserable. Um, it's not that the work that I did was unimportant, I just didn't find it fulfilling. And while it was interesting, it wasn't something that I really had a passion for. And I have a passion for history. When I decided that I was going to go back to school, I said, at first I thought, well, I could go into something that's going to make money. But then when I really thought about it, I thought, money pays the bills, sure. But I want to pursue something that I know I'm going to love. And I'll worry about the rest later. Fortunately, I'm in a position where I'm able to do that. And so I was able to go and I'm pursuing a history degree. And I love it. I love everything about it. Many people say, oh, history, aren't you bored? Well, we're going to talk about history some more. If you watch my first video here, it tells you some things about things that history, how it's different than what most people think. But anyway, getting back to the question, I digress a little bit. The question of money. So that kind of leads to the second question. What can you do with a history degree? And that, oh, are you going to teach? And that's the common thought that people have. Well, if you're a history major, you're just going to teach. And there are so many other avenues to pursue with a history degree. History certainly teaches you things about the past, the people and cultures and places of the past. But history also teaches certain skills that can translate into several other jobs. One of the first and foremost skills that you learn as a historian is research. Historians are masters of research, and research can be applied into so many other fields. A lot of people may, again, find it boring digging through archives. We live in an age where you have to do computer searches and searches like that, and sometimes navigating computerized databases aren't as easy as you think. But we also have many types of records that still have not been translated into a digital format. And so you have to go down and you have to dig through boxes, you have to look through old file folders to find some of these records, depending what they are, whether they are medical records, whether they're corporate records, whether they're legal records. Historians have developed methods and systems for researching through physical archives, and that can be applied in so many other places. So you can leverage research skills. The other thing historians do, as you may heard a little bit in my previous video, is that historians learn how to think critically about the past, how to analyze things. That's a skill, again, that can be translated into so many other places, so many other jobs. How to look at something rather than simply seeing on the surface, what do documents say? And often when historians look at them, what is it that's not said? Is there something omitted that you think should be there, or something that is conspicuous in its absence? Historians learn how to pull this information out of what they're looking at. So these are just two examples of things that you can do, that you can translate into any job skill. Now, certainly, you may think that There are limits to history where you can only teach, and people don't think about jobs like curating museums, working as a consultant when you are looking at trends and patterns of the past, looking at jobs working as a historical consultant. I mean, how many shows do you see on television right now or movies that are period pieces? I assure you, somewhere involved in there, while some historians may scoff a little bit at how the historical details may be incorrect, somewhere in there, there's a historian being consulted for what the costumes look like, what the buildings look like, what the carriages or whatever the case may be looked like, what figures were alive during that period. And some shows, while they may get certain details wrong, can be very